The information presented is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are not necessarily the opinions of any Daikin company. This information should not be confused for accounting, legal, medical, or other professional advice. Please seek advice from a qualified professional for any specific questions.
Welcome to the Accelerated HVAC Success program. My name is Ben Middleton. I'm the National Sales Training Manager for the Goodman, Amana, and Daikin brands. Today, we're joined here with Shay Mayes. She is the Paid Search and GLSA Manager for CI Web Group. Shay, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
So, Shay, the first question I like to ask all our guests that come on to the show, how in the world did you find yourself in the world of HVAC?
Well, I have about 6 years of digital marketing experience, but before I was a business analyst working for a healthcare company, and I decided I wanted to work back in marketing. So I found my unicorn of a company, CI Web Group, and I've been there ever since.
Okay. So being with CI Web Group, you are in charge of all of the paid search and GLSA. Can you tell us a little bit, what is GLSA?
So Google Local Service Ads is an advertising platform that is really cool because it only charges businesses for leads that they actually receive. So there's 3 types of leads you can receive: a call lead, a message lead, which is an optional feature, or a booking lead, which is also optional. So those are the 3 available things for GLSA.
Okay. And so why are Google local service ads, how do they differ from regular ads or regular pay-per-click that contractors may be using today?
So when you use the search engine results page for Google, they show up before anything else. So you have your local service ads, then you have your Google ads or your PPC, the map pack, which is where your Google business profile comes into play, and then you have your organic results, which you receive through SEO. So some of the key differences between Google local service ads and pay-per-click is that for one Google ad account, you can have multiple ad campaigns. You have your PMAX campaigns, and then you also are able to tailor different campaigns to certain keywords versus with Google local service ads, for one account, you only have one ad campaign and you have several job types or keywords that you can choose for that one advertising campaign.
Okay. And how much does it cost to run on Google versus going to the other paid search models that are out there?
So typically a good cost per lead for PPC is around $100 to $150 per lead. GLSA is a lot cheaper than that. It ranges from $25 per lead to $70, with the average being about $50.
So it talks about local service. When you talk about pay-per-click, does one of those have a wider reach than the other?
No, I think they both kind of have the same amount of reach. It all depends on what locations you want to target. For example, if you were to search something like AC repair in San Antonio, Texas, you're going to see your Google local service ads as well as your pay-per-click and Google ads.
Okay. And what is the Google guarantee? How does that benefit a contractor's business?
So your Google Guaranteed badge is only eligible for certain industries, such as the home service industries, carpet cleaning, auto repair, and things like that. And it's kind of like a badge of honor that shows customers that you're trustworthy and reliable. It provides an up to $2,000 disbursement fee to customers if they are dissatisfied with any services from businesses that do have the Google Guaranteed badge.
So how does a contractor go about getting one of those?
You have to pass a certain amount of verifications, such as background checks, uploading your licensing, your proof of insurance, having at least 5 reviews on your Google business profile, and things like that.
Okay. And how long does it take to start ranking once you get into GLSA?
So that all depends on the ad ranking factor. Google has 7 of them. If you're coming in already having a strong amount of reviews and a good review rating, I've seen clients rank within days and start receiving a consistent amount of leads, whereas other companies that maybe have only a few reviews and they're in a highly competitive market, it might take them up to 3 months to rank.
Okay. Is there any ranking in traditional pay-per-click?
Pay-per-click, it's really about like your landing pages and making sure that it's optimized, but also you can outbid your competitors to get in those top positions. With GLSA, it's less about the budget and more about all of those 7 ranking factors working together.
Okay. And how many advertising positions are available in GLSA?
So when you search on the Google engine search results page, there are only 2 that show, but then once you click view more, it shows the top 20 available positions.
So typically you have 10 organics on a page. How many pay-per-click can you have on a page?
I'm not sure how many you can have for pay per click, but I usually see around like 2 or 3
So
for
2 or
them.
3 for pay-per-click. Then you've
hmm
got your maps,
Yes. Then you have your maps, your Google business profile, and then your organic results.
and then you have GLSA.
Yes, but GLSA is at the top.
Okay.
So it'll show the top two. And then once you click in, it'll show 20, up to
Okay.
20.
Okay. And how do you see contractors that are not in the top 2? What's the difference in click-through rates on those that are just in the top 2 versus when you get into that top 20?
It's a pretty significant difference. The top two that are shown without having to click in to view more, they see thousands more ad impressions than those who might be in the 10th position or the 18th position.
So what's Google looking for in order to get somebody into those top 2 positions? Seems like those would be the most coveted positions to get into.
And it's highly competitive depending on your market. So it depends on the 7 ranking factors that we talked about earlier. So
Mhm.
you have your client responsiveness, which is really huge, making sure that you aren't missing any call leads or message leads or any leads that come in. Also, the amount of reviews you have, as well as the quality of your reviews, and are you responding to them in a timely manner when you receive them? There's also your business hours. For example, if a business is open from 9 to 5 and another business is open 24 hours, or they have a 24-hour answering service, then Google's going to rank them higher because clients are naturally going to gravitate towards the business that provides a longer service availability. And there's also the services you offer, making sure that they're in demand. For example, if you're in a place like Colorado and it's super cold right now and the only thing you offer is AC services, you're not going to receive those leads because that's not in demand. Also, your service areas. So I always recommend our clients to have a variety of smaller service areas and larger, because larger cities have more demand, but it also means more competition and it
Mhm.
might take longer to rank. Whereas smaller areas have less demand, but also less competition and less time to rank. So always having a good mix of those. Also, customer complaints. You can't see it on your end. We can't see it on our end. Only Google can see it, but they take any customer complaint very seriously. So just always making sure that as a business, you're providing the best customer service as possible. And then the other ad ranking factors, I believe, are, so we talked about business hours, customer responsiveness, service areas, services offered, customer complaints, your account optimization, making sure that your ads actually look good, that your business bio is up to date, that everything just looks cohesive and is competitive. And then lastly is, your reviews. So those are
So
the 7 ad ranking factors.
tell me about responsiveness a little bit, because it seems to me for a lot of marketing companies within the home services space, specifically within HVAC, we see that that can be an issue with contractors not being able to get to the phone or going to voicemail. And how does Google actually track that?
So Google tracks the calls and the message leads that come in. I wouldn't say that it's the technicians that respond to them, but someone designated within the company, maybe like in an administrative role or the
Hmm.
CEO themselves. They would have to log into the platform and make sure they are responding to message leads within 24 hours, or call leads in the call center, making sure that they aren't missing any of those calls.
So how does a company like CI Web Group help a contractor in that ranking? It seems like there's a lot of things the contractor has to do. Where
Mhm.
does CI Web Group come in and come in alongside and helping that contractor with all of these factors?
So with our management, we pretty much do everything except respond to the clients for the customer. So we monitor the advertising budgets for compliance Monday through Friday during regular scheduled business hours. We also make changes on behalf of the client to the account. For example, another key difference between GLSA and Google Ads is GLSA is a lot more manual. For example, for Google Ads, you can set up a script to where the advertising will turn off once it hits a certain monthly budget. With GLSA, there's nothing like that. So you have to do everything manually and turn it off. So just for example, to change a phone number on an advertising for GLSA, you have to call Google support and go through an email verification process. And that takes a minimum of 30 minutes. So we do things like that on our clients' behalf, from simple to complex issues. We perform account audits and we set up their accounts for them to make sure that they are ranking in those top positions and receiving the most amount of leads possible. As Google Premier partners, we also are up to date on things like the algorithm change, and we come up with countermeasures and strategies to make sure that our clients are receiving the best ROI for what they're getting.
Speaking of ROI, how do you track ROI in this particular medium? I think that's the biggest thing, right? A contractor
Mhm.
wants to know, if I spend this much, this is how much I should return on that investment. So how do you track that?
So in the GLSA platform, there's a reporting tab where you can see your monthly spend and you can customize it by date. And you can also see your ad impressions as well as click into the leads that you've received individually. And you can also pull GLSA data into a third party platform like Service Titan to be able to track things like your revenue on jobs booked.
Okay. So it actually ties into those different platforms that contractors may be using so they can actually see what the actual sales made from all the activity that was generated from that particular campaign.
Right. And typically for an ad spend of around $1,000, you would receive anywhere from 10 to 20 leads. For an ad spend of 2,500, you would receive 20 to 40 leads. And then for budgets of 5,000 plus, you would receive a minimum of 60 leads, upwards of 100, depending on what your cost per lead is. But the average is 50.
Talking to a lot of contractors, one of the biggest concerns they have is how qualified are those leads? And do you have a lot of quote unquote tire kickers, or do you have people that are really interested in moving and doing something?
hmm GLSA is really cool because it provides really quality leads. Most of the people who are calling businesses are looking to have a certain job service. So it's really easy to book those leads.
Okay. What are the benefits of having a company actually manage that in the reporting and putting all that together?
So with GLSA, managing it in-house is very time consuming. It can take the equivalent for one account of, 20 hours a
Mm.
week. So having a company do that for you frees up a lot of your time and it allows them professionals who know about the market and who have other companies and clients in the same area be able to apply their knowledge to your account and do the things that you might not have time for, such as calling Google support to make changes and things like that.
So, what is the new GLSA algorithm that has just been released, and how does that impact HVAC contractors today?
So the algorithm has been quite a problem for a lot of clients. So before October 2023, it was set up to where companies who had the most reviews and the highest review rating kind of had a monopoly on the market. They were going to be in the top like 5 positions just because they were the strongest companies in that aspect. And so companies who were just entering the market or who had less reviews didn't have much of a chance for their ads to be seen and to receive those leads. So since the algorithm changed, they more so evenly rotate out the businesses within the top 20 positions. So even if a business has less reviews or they're not meeting all of the ad ranking factors immediately, they can still have a chance for their ads to be seen and for them to receive leads. So this has greatly impacted markets that are highly competitive. For example, if you're in like Los Angeles and there's hundreds of companies vying for the top 20 positions, now that they're rotating them out more evenly, overall businesses are having less time being seen. They're
Mm.
having less visibility on Google local service ads. So across the HVAC industry, they saw a 57% decrease in leads per business, and for plumbing, about a 10% decrease.
So, those would be those that were typically in the top two positions before.
It's all the businesses in the top 20 positions.
But how is it? So, all the top 20. So, what are you saying that then the top 100 now are actually rotating through those top 20 spots?
So Google local service ads doesn't tell you how many companies are vying for
Yeah.
those top 20 positions, but we can assume based on the market that there are a lot. So within those 20 positions, those are the ones that are being rotated out more evenly. So if there are 100 competitors, they're all trying to get in those top 20 positions and they're all being rotated in and out of it. So they have less visibility in competitive markets. Where smaller markets have seen this has impacted them in a positive way because they get more time on Google.
So, for a contractor just getting into GLSA, this may actually be good news for them.
Yes.
So, do you have any kind of last thoughts or words of wisdom that you would share with our audience in terms of GLSA and how they should get started with it?
Yes, I recommend going to CI Web Group and having us manage your accounts. We've taken accounts that have tried GLSA for years and only received like 5 leads per month and only a couple $100s in ad spend. And in the first month, they've exceeded, 3K. And we recently had a client who was averaging 3K a month in January go to 40,000 a month in ad spend and receive over 400 leads. So when it's in the right hands, it performs very well.
So Shay, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here. And for all of you that are watching this show, I'd encourage you, if you like this episode and you want to see more, go ahead and like it. Also, make sure that you follow the podcast so that you can go be notified of all of the upcoming shows that we have. Thank you again, and until next time.